5M is. So what I want to do right now is I want to introduce our guest speaker. We have someone here that has come to the United States all the way from South Africa. He's someone that was introduced to Manatech several years ago. And when he was first introduced to Manatech, he was young. He was actually a rugby player and had no, strong business aspirations. He was just interested in learning about a new company and a new product. And once he learned about it, he was interested in having an opportunity to do something for himself and not have to work for somebody else. And he got really excited about it, really passionate about it. And in 10 months, he went from brand new, just starting out, to a level that we call presidential director. It's our top level of leadership. And so, without any further ado, I want to welcome now our silver presidential, all the way from South Africa, Mr. J.P. Koster.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. Can I just see you here for the very first time? Okay, there's a few of you. Well, welcome here. I'm all the way from South Africa. It's always nice to welcome you because I remember about 6 years ago, I got invited to a presentation just like this, and I was incredibly skeptical, and I had a friend that dragged me along to the presentation, and the amazing thing for me always about this is how a half an hour or a 1 hour presentation can really change your whole life. And I know that many people in the room here tonight know exactly what I'm speaking about. And that happened for me 6 years ago. And so I just want to welcome you and thank you for taking the time out to come and listen to me, because Manatech's really changed my life in so many different ways, and I will share a little bit about that as the presentation goes along. But I've had the most amazing privilege really to be able to travel. Can I just see who enjoys traveling? I know it's not for everyone, but most of us love traveling, don't we? Just to see the world, because for me, I've always enjoyed traveling, and I had the most amazing experience about 3-4 weeks ago. I was in London, and I was doing the European training there. We did 6 different countries in 10 days, so it was pretty busy. But I was in Oxford Street, and as I was in Oxford Street, I saw a presentation board where someone had written down on the presentation board, what would you do with your life if money and time was no option? And I want to ask you tonight, what would you do with your life if money and time was no option? And I think, as I looked at the presentation board, I'd seen what people had written down, and some people wrote down they'd love to travel the world, and some people wrote down that they'd love to be an astronaut, or some people would love to work on a tiger sanctuary. And I looked at that and I realized that I couldn't imagine in my life doing anything else but what I'm doing right now. Because I love to inspire people, to motivate people, and I love to help people that are probably in a place where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I know it's such a cliche, but sometimes many of us are in that place where you are just in the looking zone. You're looking for something to come along your way and that you can just grab on and you can say, do you know what? I can do this. And if there's one thing that I can leave you with tonight is that even if you just can walk out here tonight and you were just inspired for half an hour, that would make my time here worthwhile. Because I realize how often in life we go through our lives and, we do this thing called trading time for money. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Trading time for money. And it's because we get taught out there that, you go to school, get good grades, and go and look for a good paying job. And people end up working for 40 years doing something that we're not really always that passionate about. And I think for me, when I look at that and whenever I speak to people about this, and the one thing I must just give credit where credit is due, but when I come to Manatech and to Manatech Corporate, I can see people that absolutely love being here. It's the most amazing company because, just for all the corporate staff, you really make it so much better for all of us as associates because we wouldn't be able to do this without you. And I just want to thank you guys as well because I think you make this whole company work. So thank you very much to all of you. But coming back to that, I realized that is that a bit better? Okay, cool. They say you're supposed to treat it like an ice cream, so I won't lick it. Don't worry. But here's the thing: is that when you think about that whole concept of trading time for money, is that what are people really doing with their lives is that they're saying, I'll give you a certain amount of my time, and in return, I would like you to give me some money. And when I think about that, I think about, if you're trading time for money and people love what they do, would they, if they knew they were going to pass away next week, Friday, would they still go to work next week? And for most people, that's not really a reality. They'd say, no, I'd rather spend time with my family and with my friends. And for me, honestly, if I knew I had a week left to live, I would still be here tonight doing the presentation. Because for this moment, just while I'm doing this presentation, I know that I'm making the world a better place. Because even if I just inspire one person here to take action and change their lives, that'll be worthwhile for me to be able to share this with you. So 6 years ago, as Kevin said earlier, and Kevin, you've done an amazing job, and I really want to honor you for everything you do, and just with this whole Tuesday Night Live, and you're really a massive asset to the company. So thank you very much for what you do. I really appreciate it. But, you know, as I said earlier, I got invited to this presentation. I was studying a business commerce degree at the time, and I was so skeptical because I'd never heard about network marketing or about Manatech. And I went to the presentation and I saw a pharmacist that spoke a little bit about the product and the technology. And it really intrigued me. But what really excited me was really the business opportunity, because I saw that, you know, if you think about it, and I'm actually going to write this down, is that the reality is that 96% of people that lie awake at night are worrying about two things. The first thing that they're worrying about is their health. And the second thing that people are worrying about is, of course, their finances. And I realize for most people in the United States, even just the extra $500 a month could drastically change your life. It might mean you could pay off your debt. It might mean that you could drive a different motor vehicle. You might be able to live in a different neighborhood. You might be able to go on that holiday that you've always wanted to go on. But when I saw this, I realized, what better to be part of a company that helps people have better health, and more importantly, helps people be able to start their own businesses, or even if they just want to just share this with a few people, be able to earn an extra stream of income. And I think for most of us, we get more excited about helping people earn an extra $500 than actually when people start earning $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 a month. And I think for me, that was when I was most excited about it, when I was just earning extra $500 a month building the business. And as I do these presentations, I realize that actually 6% of people are worrying about their health, and 90% of people are really worrying about their finances. Because we all have to realize that the biggest disease in the world is still poverty. And this is really what Manatech's all about. So just by you making a difference in your health, you are, of course, helping a child that's malnourished. But if you're building this as a business, you're also helping children. So whatever you choose, you are making a difference. You're making impact in the world. Now, the next part about this is, if you look at the business plan, is that, for me, I'm just going to run through this very, very quickly. But Kevin has mentioned some of the facts that I was speaking about earlier, that he spoke about earlier, is that the one thing for me that was important about Manatech, the first part about it is that we are a public company listed on the NASDAQ, which of course means that we're transparent. I mean, there's so many regulations that you have to go through to be a public company. The next thing that was exciting for me to look at Manatech as a company was that we've been in business for over 20 years. So this is not a company that's just been around for 1 year or 2 years. We've got a massive track record. And because we've been around for 20 years, there's a much better chance that we're going to be around for another 20 years compared to some companies that have only been around for 5 years. And the third thing, of course, is that we're doing business in over 24 countries, which means there's still massive potential for all of us sitting here tonight to be able to build an international business. Not just here in the United States. We still have to open all the BRIC markets. Brazil, Russia, India, China. We're not in any of those markets. Some of those markets have over 1 billion people. So all of us in this room here tonight have the opportunity to build your business there. And I realize when you first look at this, it sounds very big to people. But guess what? That can become a reality for each and every single one of you if you make a decision for that to become a reality. Now, of course, from there, it really splits into 3 different parts. The first part, of course, is that we're in the health and wellness industry. all of us here realize that the health and wellness industry is the next trillion-dollar industry. And there's really two reasons for it. The first reason is that you've got the aging of the baby boomers, which means that people born just after World War II and before 1964, there was almost 1 billion people born during that time. What do all of them want? They want better-looking skin, they want fat loss, they want more energy, all those sorts of things. And by the way, it's not just the baby boomers. People that are not baby boomers want that as well. So what they're saying is that 20 companies are really going to control about 80% of this whole market because there's so many companies out there. So you'd really, as a company, there's 4 things you need if you want to be one of these top 20 companies. And what industry experts are saying, when this becomes a trillion-dollar industry, is you need 4 different things. The first thing that you need is a patented product. We all have to realize that if you look at so many of the nutritional companies out there, everyone has a multivitamin mineral. Everyone has an antioxidant. Everyone has a fat loss product. Everyone has an anti-aging product. What makes Manatech unique is that we're the only company in the world that has actually pioneered a whole new class of nutrient called glyconutrients. We own that whole technology. And we, in fact, have over 60 patents just on Ambritose, and we've got more than 90 patents on our technology. So we're completely patent protected, and it makes us unique in the marketplace. The next part about that is that they say if you want to be one of the top 20 companies, is you need scientific validation on your products. People are not going to buy a good story anymore or good marketing material. They want to know if you say your product does this, can you actually prove that it does what you say it does? And Manatech has so many different clinical trials to be able to prove that our products help with cognitive function, digestive function, immune function, and so forth and so forth. So we have got so much scientific validation on our technology. Isn't that exciting? Can we get a bit more excited here about this? I mean, come on. Jeez. Maybe it's because I'm not excited enough. Well, in fact, I should be waking up pretty soon because it's actually Wednesday morning back home in South Africa. So if I'm not excited enough, just let me know. Just show at the back. Just show me to lift up my energy levels, and I will. Okay, so that's the second thing you need if you want to be one of these top 20 companies. What's the third thing you need? You need a disruptive technology. Now, what is disruptive? Disruptive is what happened with cassette tapes when CDs came out. That's disruptive. It's what happened to CDs when MP3s came out. That's disruptive. What does that mean? It means that when CDs first came out, all the cassette tape companies out there didn't say, oh, no, you should definitely buy CDs. They're very cool, and I know they are awesome. No, they ridiculed it. It's the same thing what happened with think about a company like Apple. When Apple started launching iTunes, what happened with all the CD companies? All of it is initially just ridiculed. But eventually now, all of us today, we're buying most of our CDs or most of our music from iTunes because it just makes so much more sense. And this is exactly what happened with Manatech. When we first brought our technology out to the marketplace, it was ridiculed. You can go and Google Manatech on the internet. You're going to find lots of negative stuff, but you're going to find so many positive things as well. It's the same as if you Google Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. Any company out there, if you're making a dent in the universe, there are supposed to be negative stuff about you on the internet. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so you need a disruptive technology. In fact, that is one of the things that you need to be one of these top 20 companies. So we appreciate that it's out there because we know, because we've got this amazing patented product and it's scientific, with a scientific validation behind it, it needs to be disruptive, and it will be. The fourth part about this is you need a guarantee on your product. So what the consumer wants is he wants to know, or she wants to know, that if I try your products and I don't get results, can I get my money back? Now what Manatech offers in the United States is a 180-day satisfaction guarantee. Is that good or good? Hey? So what do they say to you? So when people say to you, how much do the products cost? And if you're here for the first time tonight, you're probably thinking that same thing. How much? Just tell me, how much does it cost? It's free unless it works for you. And you might be thinking, why do you say that? It's free unless it works for you. Why? Because it's free because if you try it and it doesn't work for you, it's going to be free because we're going to give you a refund. But if it works for you, then you have to pay for it. Isn't that fair? And if it works for you, guess what you're going to do? You're going to start sharing this with other people, so it's going to be free in anyways, whether you like it or not. So it's a win-win-win. Now, this is as much as I really try and share about the product, because there's such amazing technology, information out there on the technology with amazing doctors that explain it so much better than I would ever be able to do. So I'd rather let them explain it. And all of you, if you're here for the first time tonight, there's amazing information online. And just get back to the person who invited you here tonight to share that information with you, because it really is all transparent and it is out there. The next part about Manitech is that we are a social entrepreneurship company. What does that mean? It means that we're solving a global problem, sort of the same as Tom's shoes. So every time you buy a pair of Tom's shoes, they will donate a pair of shoes to a child that can't afford shoes. What does Manitech do? Well, we realize that every single year there's over 5 million children that die because they're malnourished. So what we do is every single time you buy the products for yourself to nourish yourself, you will nourish a child as well. And Manitech as a company will donate fiber blend powder to a child that can't, of course, afford the product. So you're not only making a difference in your world, but you're making a difference in the world at the exact same time. So if you want to be part of Manitech just for the business part about it, guess what? You're going to be saving a lot of kids' lives. If you're doing it just for the product, you're saving kids' lives. So whether you like it or not, you are going to make a difference if you're part of the company. And our goal as a company is to link 5 million consumers, 5 million people like me and you, up with 5 million children all around the world. And if we achieve our mission of Mission 5 million to eradicate malnutrition, we'll become a $5 billion company. Do you know how many platinum presidentials we need to do that? And how many presidentials? I believe we almost need 10,000 presidential directors. Now, at presidential director, you're earning between $5,000 and $8,000 per month. So we need 10,000 people like me and you to be able to earn that so we can eradicate malnutrition. So whether you want the money or not, you can donate the money to your church or wherever, or some charity of your choice. But if you just want to do it for that, it's so amazing because you're making an impact in the world. And that's Mission 5 million, and Kevin spoke a little bit about that earlier. The last part about this is the part that really gets me fired up. It really gets me fired up. You know why? Because I realize that young people out there, they want to be able to be in business for themselves. They want to be able to travel the world, and not travel the world backpacking on a budget. They want to be able to travel the world in style. First class. I mean, I don't like when I walk into the airplane. I want to turn left. I don't want to turn right. I get negative when I turn right. I want to turn left all the time. Now, if you don't, I don't like flying coach. I want to fly business class. But here's the nice thing about this. You can build your business, and when you actually leave your business, it keeps on growing whether you're there or not. That is really unique, and that makes this really so amazing. So the business gets me excited because I realize that just like in South Africa, there's so many young Americans in the United States that have massive college debt. And you might study at an Ivy League university, but guess what happens is sometimes you can't even find a job, and you end up working at McDonald's. And you've got all this debt to pay off. Because we all have to realize that what do most of us get taught out there is to start working at the age of 25, and hopefully we can retire when we get to the age of 65. That is not a reality anymore, because guess why? Because inflation is going up and up every single year. Things are getting more expensive. So what ends up happening is that people have to work a lot longer. And if you go and work that out, I'm not very good at math. I'm just good at drawing circles. But that means if you're going to work for 40 years, you've got 480 paychecks for the entire duration of your life. Now, when I speak to some people, I realize they've only got another 120 paychecks left. And they haven't provided for retirement. I mean, I was sitting with one of the leaders in my group. She studied actuarial science. You all know what that is, actuarial science. She was saying to me that if you're not putting away or investing at least 30% of your income by the time you start working at the age of 25, you're not going to be able to retire at the age of 65. Now, most of the people I know, they're living on 130% of their income, never mind investing 30% of their income. And you've got to also take in consideration is how many of these paychecks is the government going to take in tax? Do you call it the IRS? IRS. Okay, how many are they going to take? So if you work it out, I mean, I'm not sure what the tax rate is like in the United States, but in South Africa, if you're earning a presidential income, you're almost paying 40% of your money just in tax. So that means that if I was a presidential for the entire duration of my life, I, in fact, will only actually be getting about 280 paychecks, 300 paychecks. The rest of it's all going to the government. Now, if you talk about the business and why it's such a unique opportunity is that this is, for me, I sort of had a negative perception about the industry when I first got involved because I didn't know any better. And I always stress the importance that if you're going to take advice from someone, take advice from someone that's got fruit on the tree. Take advice from someone that is where you want to go. So, for instance, if you wanted to learn how to fly a plane, it might be a good thing to speak to someone that's actually, in fact, flown a plane. Wouldn't you agree? Now, the problem that happens in our business is that people want to learn how to fly a plane, but they go and speak to their plumber or their broke brother-in-law. And they say, do you think that this will work? How would you fly a plane? But for me, what I realized when I looked at this business is I've got to take advice from people that actually know what they're talking about. And if you look at the industry that we're involved in 2010, the industry did about 125 billion US dollars. 2 years later, the industry we're involved in, the direct sales industry, did $167 billion. It's now officially almost twice as big as the movie and the music industry combined. It is a massive industry. It's not a small little business. And so that's the first part that's important for me. Is it's a big, big industry. Sort of the people that endorse this industry are people like Warren Buffett. He owns these companies. Donald Trump owns these companies. They endorse these companies. Robert Kiyosaki has spoken highly about network marketing as being the perfect business. Richard Branson, Tony Blair, some of the top economists in the world are saying this is the perfect business. You know why? Because it allows the average ordinary person like me and you to get involved in business for ourselves for the very first time. It allows us to be involved in free enterprise for the very first time. You see, because in our business, you can start with a pocket full of change and a heart full of dreams, and you can get involved in business. I didn't have the opportunity to buy my own franchise at the age of 23 years old because I didn't have $1 million or $100,000 or $10,000. But guess what I did have? I had a few spare pennies lying around, and I could gather up all those pennies. I can get involved in Manatech and just buy a product, and I could be involved in business for the very first time. And that is sort of the exciting part about our business, and also sort of the part that's not that exciting, because guess what? Because the entry level is so low, so many people now have the opportunity to be involved in business. So many of us have the opportunity to be involved in Manatech. And guess what? Not everyone's going to treat the business the same. Some person does whatever it takes to make a success. Another person gets involved and says, oh, no, I'm going to, they share with 4 people, and 2 people say no. One says, I'm not interested, and one person says, I might want to use the product. And they quit the business, and they go and tell all their friends, oh, no, those things don't work. Do you know what I'm talking about? And that is why I'm saying to you, is if you want to learn how to make a success in Manatech, speak to some of the leaders here that have actually made a success in it. Because they will tell you a completely different story. And that's what I love so much about Manatech. You know what? Because if you go for a job interview, how many of you have been for a job interview? Quite a few of us have been for a job interview. Now, guess what they do when you go for a job interview? They ask you, so where have you been? What are your credentials? What did you study? What's your background? You see, with Manatech, if you're here tonight for the very first time, guess what we ask? We ask one thing only. We don't ask you where have you been. We ask you, listen here, where would you like to go? That's what we do with Manatech. We help people. We identify where they want to go. We're not interested in where they've been. We are interested in where they want to go. And that's why if you've got a dream and a drive, then you're at the right place at the right time. Next part about this. Why is it so unique? The first part about it is that you can build it part-time. You don't have to quit what you're doing full-time. You can build the business part-time. Key word there, part-time. Some people think it's spare time. Now, all of us know that if you build this in your spare time, it's not going to work. You have to build it part-time, which means you have to sit down and actually plan your week. And you've got to be able to put at least 7 to 10 hours a week into the business if you want to make an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. It's not going to happen you just putting 1 hour a week into it, because that's not how this business works. It's whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. Next part about it, low startup cost. You can be part of Manatech just by buying a product. Anything from $100 to $500, and you're in business for yourself for the very first time, if this is the opportunity that you want to be part of. Low startup cost. I mean, so we've taken, Manatech has eliminated all the traditional excuses that people have to get involved in business for the very first time. You can build it part-time, low startup cost. Guess what? You can build an international business. I mentioned earlier we're doing business in 24 different countries. You could get started tonight, and it's probably afternoon in Australia already, Wednesday afternoon, but you could get someone started tonight in Australia, or in South Africa, or in Canada, or in Europe. Have you thought about a conventional business, the sort of resources it takes to open a new market? Manatech has done all of those things for all of us sitting here tonight. All that we have to do is do what we've been doing our whole lives. Recommend and promote. That's why I knew my mother would do very well in the business. She loves to talk. So here's the perfect business. You get paid to talk to people. Hey, doesn't that make... I mean, it's a perfect business if you enjoy sharing with people about what a product experience you've had, or if you like to make a difference difference in their health with regards to the product. The fourth part about it is that it's a turnkey business, which means you just have to turn the key and you can get started. It's basically you buying yourself a micro franchise. It's a business in a box. You buy a product, it gets delivered to your doorstep. You open your mouth, you have the product, you eat the product, and that is about as complicated as the business gets. So guess what you do now? You share this with other people. Now, when I say turnkey business, I mean that no stock. You don't carry any stock with you. So you don't deliver products to people. You only buy the products that you and your family would like to consume on a monthly basis. And the next part, which I really enjoyed, was no cash. What's worse than when you are giving products or selling products to people and then having to get the change from them, and you know, sometimes you buy some products for them and they say, oh, no, actually, I don't want it anymore. Then you sit with all that stock. We don't have any of that. And the last part about it is no delivery. So you don't have to drive around your car delivering products to other people. And that's what makes it so unique. And this is why I really believe this is the perfect business for the average ordinary person that's just got a dream and a drive. This is the perfect business for people. If you're looking for residual income, if you're looking to be involved in business for yourself for the very first time, this is the perfect business because it really eliminates all the traditional barriers that people have to be involved in business. Is everyone still with me? You still awake? Okay. Oh, man, I get so excited when I talk about this. I can see, I realize when I do these presentations that, that 50% of people, it doesn't matter what I say, it's probably not going to be for them, but just bear with me for the next 20 minutes. Or maybe it's not for you right now, but you never know, because some of the biggest leaders I have in my group, when I first presented this to them, it wasn't for them either. But guess what? Circumstances change in your life. Your health might change. Your financial circumstances might change as well. But I just want to let every single one of you know, if you're here tonight for the first time, let you know, if the timing's not right now, at least I want you to know that maybe in a year's time it's better. Get back to the person who invited you tonight, because you're always welcome. You're always welcome with Manatech, because you know what? We want to make a difference, and we want you to help us champion this cause that we have. Now, over the next page, I'm going to explain where the money comes from. So that is a very important part, where does the money come from? The first thing, if you look at the traditional distribution model, normally what happens is about 20% of the money would go into production, and about 80% of the money would go into advertising, marketing, shelf space, agents, brokers, all those different things. and you and I pay 100% for the product. Think about it. If a product costs you $100, it probably only costs $20 to make. There were a lot of middlemen along the way that made a lot of money on the product until you paid $100 for it. It's like anything in life, that's the way it works. What Manatech does is we use what we call word-of-mouth marketing or direct selling. And what we do is we eliminate all the middlemen and we market directly to the end consumer. So we are really prosumers. So what we do is we put approximately 56% of the turnover of the company goes into research and development to make sure that you and I have a patented product. It's got lots of scientific validation on it. It's disruptive. We can offer a guarantee on it. I mean, Manatech has spent more than $50 million just on research and development. That's huge. And what they then do, and also to run the company, to be able to pay the staff, to pay all the doctors and scientists involved with the company, and to pay for all these lovely staff that we have at corporate. The other 44% they would spend on advertising and marketing now gets paid out to people like me and you to share this with other people. Now, you might say to me, I don't want to share this with anyone. No problem. You don't have to partake in the 44%. You can just be a product user. But if you do share this with someone else, they're gonna pay 44% on that. And if you don't want the check, I'll leave my bank details afterwards. You can deposit it to me. I'll find good use for it. So the 44% gets paid out in two different streams of income. If this is money and this is time, they pay out a passive income and they pay out a active income. So in the beginning, you're going to be making a lot more money on the active income than on the passive income. But the reason why you want to build this as a business is for the passive income. Passive income is where you do the work once, but you get paid over and over and over again. Can I just see in the audience, who here has a really rich grandfather that left you a massive trust fund? Hey, any of you here? Now, I never had that. So what I had to do, I had to build Manatech. I know some of you are building the business as well. But think about passive income as you have got a really rich, you've got a big trust fund that your grandfather had a big business and he left this big trust fund. And every single month, whether you work or not, there's an extra $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 coming to your bank account, whether you work or not. That is passive income. You can travel all over the world, and every month you know that there's going to be that check that comes to your bank account. That's passive income. Now, you can do that exact same thing here with Manatech. Now, why can we earn a passive income? Because you're working with a product that is consumable, which means it runs out every month. You see, these amazing products that we have are not designed to last you 1 year. They are designed to last you only 1 month, which means if you're getting good results from the products, you will then reorder the products and reorder the products and reorder the products. So this comes from what we call automatic orders, AOs. This is also what allows us to feed 5 million children, is on automatic orders. Every month you order the product for yourself, they will be able to donate product to a child that can't afford the products. That is part of the mission 5 million. So we need 5 million consumers just to use products. But then, of course, we also pay out the active income, and this is what gets paid out just once off. You actively have to work for it to earn that. When you help people set up their account numbers for the very first time, you will make active income. So every month, two different checks. So every fortnight you get paid. Do you know what a fortnight is? Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you get a check. I said to some of the leaders in Chicago, here's the secret to it. You can't be passive to earn passive income. There's a clue in it. It means that you've got to be very active in the beginning, and then eventually you will earn passive income. So I'm going to quickly explain how the active income works, and then I'm going to come back and explain how the passive income works. So remember, every month, 2 different checks. What you and I get paid for is to help people set up their account numbers. They will then be it's like a console account. They buy directly from the company, not from you. You see, the nice thing about our company also is that everyone pays the same for their products. It doesn't matter if you are a brand new person getting started or if you're a presidential director, everyone pays the same. in other companies out there, sometimes the bigger your business gets, the cheaper your products become. When you have your own account number, you save approximately 20% on the retail price of the product. Is that correct? About 20%. You buy directly from the company, and the company will ship directly to your doorstep. There's two different ways of getting this account number. The first way is by being a preferred associate. So I'm just going to write down PA for preferred associate, and that is going to cost you approximately $100. You actually buy a product for that. So remember, there's a key word here. You're not just putting money into some scheme here. You're actually buying a product for your health. That is the preferred associate pack. The next is the all-star pack, also known as the champion pack. And that pack will cost you $499. All that happens with this pack is you get a lot more products, and you can choose exactly which products you'd like. And the other difference between these two packs is on the all-star pack, which is the bottom pack, you have unlimited income potential. So there's no limit on how much income you can make. On the preferred associate pack, the maximum amount of income you can earn is to become a regional director, where you can earn about $150 a month. So if you want a small business, this would probably be the best pack to get started on. But if you want a big business, this is going to be the best pack to get started on. Both of these packs are once-off expenses. You don't pay this every month. It's once off. Now, of course, as I said earlier, on the active income, is if you refer this to other people, you're going to get paid for that because you did the word-of-mouth marketing for the company. If you think about the last good movie you saw, it's probably because a friend told you about it. The last good restaurant you ate at, it's probably because a friend told you about it. The last good place you went on holiday, it's probably because a friend told you about it. So we are doing word-of-mouth marketing every single day, but most of us have just never been paid for it. Now, you can stake your claim and now start earning some of that income that you should be earning by sharing this with other people. Now, if you refer the preferred associate pack to someone, so they go online and the company's, I'm just going to backtrack. So when you get your own account number from the company, when you introduce someone else to this, they're going to ask you who referred you, because they need to know who to pay the active commissions to. So they can get the 20%, so that client can also get the 20% discount. So if you refer a preferred associate, you're going to earn $15 just for doing the referral. You didn't have to sell a product to someone or deliver it or do anything. All that you did is just tell them about it. How could you tell them about it? On Facebook, you could have given them a DVD, get them to go on a call, get them to go on a webinar. There's many different ways that you could share this with other people. But the best way to share this with other people is be a product of your product. If you start using these products and you see how good these products work, you're not going to be able to help but share this with other people. Because guess what? You're going to sleep better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel younger. You're going to feel like you're 16 again. How many of you want to feel like you're 16 again? Hey? Well, you're going to feel like you're 16 again. I don't want to feel like I'm 16 again. I was always in detention when I was 16. It's horrible. Okay. What happens if you refer the all-star pack with someone? You're going to earn $75 just for doing the referral. So guess what? You actively have to work for these bonuses every month. But guess what the company does? They bring out another nice commission where they say, every time you share this all-star pack with 4 people, so that's, of course, $300. For every 4th person that buys the all-star pack, you're going to earn an additional bonus of $400 for doing that. How much have you earned? $700. My question is, can you do that? So guess what? There's a prerequisite for the business. You've got to know at least 4 people. If you do not know 4 people, this is probably not a very good business to be involved in. There's an amazing book that I read. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's going to be able to help you to make more friends and meet new people. But I'm just kidding with that, so don't take it too seriously. It's just a joke. You can laugh. Okay, so guess what? So I spent $500. I shared this with 4 people, and I made $700. Think about a traditional business. It takes people 2 to 5 years to break even. You've just done that in 2 to 5 days. Even if you take 2 to 5 weeks, you're still better off. Even if you take 2 to 5 months, you're still 90%, still 90% faster than any other business out there. And you still got all your product. All of these commissions here are your active incomes. That is what you actively have to work for. And you can earn this again and again and again, every time you introduce 4 people. So for interest's sake, let's assume that I introduced Kevin. Now, Kevin was the guy that introduced me. Now, I'm introducing him into Manatech. I know it's a mouthful, but think about it like this. If I introduce Kevin to Manatech and he buys the All-Star pack, I'm going to earn $75. But let's assume that he goes and shares this with 4 other people. He's going to earn $700. How much have I made? Nothing. I have to share with 3 more people to make that same bonus as he did. Why? Because he did the work. So don't ever let people tell you, oh, no, the people that get in first make all the money. That is not true. It's because they are not educated. They don't understand any better. It's the person that works the hardest who always make the most money. Now, onto the passive incomes, and I'm actually going to explain that on the next page. Are you all still with me? We're almost done. Okay, good. So this is the active income, so we can do the passive income on the next page. So, if we had more time, I would have told you the story about Pablo and Bruno. Who of you know the story about Pablo and Bruno? Let me tell you the story about Pablo and Bruno. Now, there's 2 brothers, Pablo and Bruno, who lived in an Italian village. And they got commissioned by the town general, or the king of the town. Because at that stage, there was a well in the middle of the town. And so what you had to do is, when this well would run dry, is that they would have to go and carry buckets of water from the river all the way to the town. And he would pay them every time they carried buckets. So they got paid for carrying buckets of water. But one day, after doing this for a year, Pablo decided, you know what, I'm tired of carrying buckets. I can't do this anymore. So what he started doing is that after hours, when Bruno was in the bar and in the pub having a good time, he would start working part-time and start digging a pipeline. And it took him a long time. It took him 5 years to do. But guess what happened? When Bruno couldn't carry the buckets anymore and he's growing old and weary, when Pablo eventually finished building the pipeline, that money just started rolling in and in and in, and he never had to work another day in his life. That is exactly what you're doing with Manatech, is you're building your pipeline. So you're building your business part-time, but guess what? When you finish building it, you build it properly, you will get to a stage in your life where you don't have to work anymore, and the money will come in whether you work or not, because you've done the work once. So you get the chance and the opportunity to build your own pipeline here tonight. That's your decision. You can do. I made that decision 6 years ago to build my pipeline. That's why I've got the opportunity to be able to build my business in the United States, or be in the United States. But my business is carrying on because I built my pipeline, and I want you to build your pipeline as well. So that's the story about Pablo and Bruno, and very short. But you can buy the book. It's called The Parable of the Pipeline. It's an amazing book. I hope I did a good justice to the book. So. See, I did network marketing there for the book. I'm not going to get any commission, but imagine if I got paid for that. That's doing network marketing. So anyway, so to earn passive income, you got to order at least 100 points per month or $100 worth of product. Think about any conventional business. You've got overheads. Think about a company think about if you start your own business, you've got to pay rent, staff, stock, taxes, telephone, all those things. All that you have to do in Manatech is just have to buy $100 worth of product every month, and you get to feed a child for that. And you get to have more energy, you feel better. You start feeling like you're 16 again. It's fantastic. Now, what you do is, the first thing you want to do, you're going to create your own account number. Now, remember, whichever pack you get, if you get the All-Star pack, it's once off. It's not every month $500. It's once off $500. But treat this as if you've invested $50,000. If I can give you a tip, treat it, because you see, if you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get a hobby income. Treat it like a proper business. So what do we want to do? The first thing we want to do is, we want to help you build your team of 4 people. So remember I said you got your 4 all-stars involved, and you made your power bonus. You've made your $700 already on the active income. But guess what? If you had all 4 of these people started as an all-star, and let's assume that all of them are also ordering 100 points, you should become a regional director in your first month, which is about 1,500 points. So you can do this in 1 to 3 months. So you get to 1,500 points, because on each one of these packs, of these all-star packs, there are points attached to these packs. On each of the packs, it's 400. So 4 times 400 is obviously 1,600, which is more than 1,500. But if you have 1,500 points, so you can do this in the first week, or you can even do it tonight when you get home. You can do it as quickly as you want to. But if you do that, you're going to be a regional director, and there your commission will be anything from $100 to about $150. I know that's not a lot of money, but think, you've already made the $700. You're already in profit. Everything above this level is profit. Now, what are we going to do now? All we're going to do is we're going to help these people here. We're going to identify 3 of these people, hopefully all 4, but let's just say 3 of them just for interest's sake, or for the example tonight. Let's assume that we help 3 of them also become regional directors. So we just help them. You see, to be good at this business, you've got to be very good at teaching other people. That's why teachers are very good at this business. That's sort of my experience. If you're good at teaching, you're going to do very well at the business. If you're good at sales, it's not always a very easy business, because it's very easy for you to talk people into the business, but it's not always so easy for you to teach and train and develop other people. So what happens is, you've got 3 people that are also regional directors, so they're all excited because they're getting their product paid for every single month, and you now have enough points, and you want to try and do this in anything from 3 to 6 months. Remember, this is your part-time business. Remember what Jim Rohn said? I'm working full-time on my job, but part-time on my fortune. And he also said profits are better than wages. Now you're in profit here. So what we're going to do now is, you've got enough points now to be a national director, which is about 6,000 points. And on 6,000 points, as a national director, you will be earning anything from $450 to about $1,000 extra per month, on top of what you're earning already working full-time. Normally I've got a few ladies in my group that are presidentials. And I always say to them, sometimes the husbands are a bit skeptical, a bit negative about network marketing. But what happens is when the woman gets started in the business, the husbands say, my wife just started this little part-time business. Now, when it starts going to the next level, it's still my wife's business. But when it starts going to the next level, that's when you've helped 3 more people become national. So you've helped 3 of your friends become national directors. So they're each earning anything from $450 to $1,000 a month extra on top of what they're earning already. This is where the husband starts saying to his friends, my wife and I have started this new business. And that is, of course, is because you've got over 20,000 points. Executive director, and you want to try and do this anything from 6 to 12 months, and there the income is anything from $1,500 to about $3,000. Do you want to do that? You can do it. Oh, you're almost executive. Fantastic. Do you know what? Round of applause. That's fantastic. Brilliant. You see, so you must understand I'm being very conservative. I'm saying 6 to 12 months. You can do that in 3 months if you want it. You decide how quickly you want to do it. Of course, now you and your wife have started this part-time business. What are we going to do now? We're going to help 3 people become executive directors. Now, I realize for most people, extra $1,000, $2,000 can drastically change people's lives. Even if it took you 2 years to do this, wouldn't that make a difference? But then, of course, you're going to become a presidential director with over 60,000 points in your business. And there the income will be anything from about $5,000 to about $8,000 per month in your part-time business. This is where the husband starts saying, I have started this part-time business that is now paying me any extra $5,000 to $8,000 a month part-time. So what do you do when you become a presidential? Well, first of all, they fly you to Hawaii every year for the rest of your life. So I get forced to go there every year, along with some of you sitting here tonight. But besides that, you know what? You've made a drastic impact in so many people's lives. Once you become a presidential director, here's the key thing. Remember what I've said the whole time tonight in the presentation, is when you got started is you helped 3 people become regional director. You then helped the regionals become nationals to become a executive. You then helped the 3 people become executives for you to become a presidential. So it's a business about people helping people help themselves. Now, what do we do now? Once you become a presidential director, PD, presidential director, you will never make more money than that unless you help other people become presidential director. That is why when Kevin was introducing me earlier, is that, yes, I did go presidential under a year, but it took me another year to become a bronze and another 3 years after that to become a silver. Why? Because I needed to help more people become free, to help more people become presidential. So what happens is that as soon as you've helped 2 different people become presidential directors, you become a silver presidential director. And at silver, your income will be about $15,000 plus per business period. That's almost $3,000-4,000 per week in your part-time business. And probably at this stage, you're probably thinking about maybe doing it full-time. Maybe you're thinking about bringing your wife home from work. Maybe you're thinking about retiring yourself as well. That's the nice thing about our business. You see, you never retire. You retire into your business, not out of your business. Now, what do we do now? You see, once again, your income cannot be more than this unless you help other people achieve this level over here. So it's not about you, but it starts with you. And the person that helps the most people reach this level over here will always make the most money. So once you've helped a 3rd person do that as well, you become a gold presidential, and there your income will start at about $20,000 plus per business period per month. That's $5,000 a week. Now, I want to ask you, what would you do with the extra $5,000 a week? Would you maybe have some different friends, maybe hang out at some different places, maybe go on holiday to some different destinations, maybe drive a different car, maybe donate more money to a charity of choice? Maybe would you like to buy a dream car? Hey, how about your dream car? Whatever it may be. But you see, the nice thing about this, you do with it whatever you choose. But I can promise you one thing is these people here, every single time you get on stage to speak, they're going to be crying. They're going to be so emotional because you know what? You had the guts and the courage to share something with them because you believed in them when they didn't yet believe in themselves. And some of you are here tonight because you had someone believe in you. And guess what? I never saw this for me, but guess what? I'm forever grateful for the person that just, even though he only saw it for a little while. Remember, the person that introduced me to Manatech is not even a regional director. But guess what? He saw this and he believed in this enough to make me believe. And even though he only believed for 1 month, it was enough for me to build the business. So I'm forever grateful for that. So I would honestly, whoever invited you tonight said, you know what? Thank you so much just for thinking about me, for giving me the opportunity. And if you take it, great. If you don't, guess what? Maybe the timing's not right. Maybe in a year's time, the timing will be better. But guess what we do now is we help the 4th person become a presidential director, and you will reach the level of platinum presidential, where you will earn, on top of $40,000 per month. Now we're talking about $10,000 per week. I mean, work out what that's per day. It's almost $1,500 per day, whether you work or not. I'm not saying you're working for a big corporate company and you're earning that. I'm saying whether you work or not, that's coming into your bank account every single month. And there's just 2 things I want to share with you before I leave. You've got to also remember that you might get someone involved in your business, and guess what he does? He helps 8 different people go presidential, And he becomes a double platinum presidential. Why? Because he's helped 8 people, you've only helped 4. Yes, you've got 8 people in his group, but they only count 1 for you because you've only helped him. He's helped 8. So he will start earning about anything from $200,000 to about $400,000 per month. Why? Because he's helped the most people. So it's not about just about how many people you can help go presidential. Key thing is, so don't think that the person that gets in first makes the most money. No, the person that helps the most people and develops the most volume will always make the most. That's why, for instance, for me, I can make more than 30, 40, 50 people above me in the structure. Why? Because I produce more volume and I've helped more people become presidential. Now, in closing, there's probably 2 things that are going through your mind if you're for the first time. The one thing is the benefits and the risks. Am I right? The first time I saw this, I thought, oh, it sounds fantastic, but okay, so what are all the benefits? And I want to know what are the risks. What are the pros and what are the cons? Now, can you just, a few of you just put up your hand and just tell me what the benefits are? I don't want everyone to shout at once, but just, I will choose a few. Yes. Better health. Is that not an amazing benefit? Better health? You can have all the money in the world, you know, but if you don't have your health, you've got nothing. So, someone else? Time freedom? Low startup cost? Yeah, okay. The income you can earn. Mary Jo? The passive income. How about people worrying about their retirement? Residual income. The legacy. How about building something that's inheritable? You know, one of my best friends, his father actually built this business for about 2 months. They become national directors. He passed away in a motor car accident. You know, his mother's been earning about $500 now for the last 5 years because of what his father did for the first 2 months while he was still alive. It's a business that's inheritable, which means if you don't want to do it for you, do it for your children, or do it for your children's children. You can leave a legacy. It's inheritable. I mean, of course, yeah. Do that. I mean, maybe it's because you want to send your kids to your Ivy League university, you have the finances to do. There's so many different reasons. And, I mean, we can go on for the whole evening. These are what we call primary motivating factors of why people would get involved in this. And all of us would want more of these. And, of course, we have to go through the risks. And, of course, what are the risks? The $100. But how much product did you get for that? $100. So is it really a risk? No. Well, that's the first risk. How about the second risk? It would probably be the All-Star pack, right? The $4.99 pack. How much product did you get for that? More than the $4.99. So is that a risk? No. And you've got a 180-day satisfaction guarantee on this. So when I looked at that, I thought, well, you know, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm not stupid. So I might as well just at least try it. I might as well at least just try the product. And that is why I want you to realize that there are no risks. So even if the business is not for you, just try the products. I promise you. My mother said, you know what, I'm not interested in the business. But when she started using these products and she saw how good these products work for her, guess what she started doing? Started sharing this with other people. And if you started using these products, all of you that are part of Manatech already, you know that you're going to start sharing this with other people because these products are just too good not to share with other people. So I'm going to leave you at that. It's been a great, great privilege to be here tonight. You guys have been an amazing audience, and I really hope that there's a few of you that might have been inspired. But I just wanted to leave you with one thing, and that's the most important thing is to have fun. Second part is to make money, but more importantly, we all have to make a difference. And I really believe that Manatech really offers us all 3 of those and a lot more. So thank you very much.
Thank you, JP. Appreciate you being here tonight. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. It was a great presentation, very, very inspirational. J.P. Koster came over 25 hours to be here, to be part of this tonight. He did a few other things here at the office, but I want to thank you for doing that. Even though we went over 15 and 20 minutes, it was absolutely worth it in our time invested tonight. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, next week, our next Manatech Now broadcast will be in 2 weeks on August the 26th. So we'll be right back here at the corporate office. We'll be right back here broadcasting on Manatech Live. Again, thank you, J.P. Koster. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
We've not yet lost all our graces.